The lion on the hillside was still there, but now he was blue and shimmering in the sunlight. It was as if he were breathing, as if he were alive. It wasn't a shadow anymore. No shadow was blue. "No, you're not seeing things, young man," the old lady whispered. "It's not magic. He's real. He's our lion. That lion on the hillside. It's Bertie's and mine. He's our butterfly lion." "What do you mean?" I asked. She looked at me long and hard. "I'll tell you if you like." "Would you like to know? Would you really like to know?" I nodded. "Have another scone first, young man, and a nice another cup of tea as well. And then I will take you to Africa, where our lion came from, where my Bertie came from too. It's a bit of a story, mind, I can tell you." "You ever been to Africa?" "No," I replied. "Well, you're going to. We're both going." Suddenly, I wasn't hungry anymore. All I wanted now was to hear her story. She sat back in her chair, gazing out of the window. She told it slowly, thinking before each sentence, and all the while she never took her eyes off the butterfly lion. And neither did I. Bertie was born in South Africa, in a remote farmhouse near a place called Timbafti. It was shortly after Bertie first started to walk that his mother and father decided a fence must be put around the farmhouse to make a compound where Bertie could play safely. It wouldn't keep the snakes out, of course, nothing could do that, but at least Bertie would be safe, for now, from the leopards and the lions and the spotted hyenas. Enclosed within the compound were the lawn and the gardens at the front of the house and the stables and the barns at the back of the house. All the room for a child would need or want, you might think, but not Bertie. The farm stretched as far as the eyes could see, in all directions. 20,000 acres. Bertie's father farmed cattle, but times were hard. The rains had failed too often, and many of the rivers and waterholes had all but dried up. With fewer wildebeest and impala to prey on, the lions and leopards would sneak up on the cattle whenever they could. So Bertie's father was once more than not away from home, with his men guarding the cattle. Every time he left, he'd say the same thing. "Don't you ever open that gate, Bertie, do you hear me, boy? There's lions out there, leopards out there, elephants and hyenas. You stay put, do you hear me?" Bertie would stand at the fence and watch him ride out, and he would be left behind with his mother, who was also his teacher. There were no schools for hundreds of miles, and his mother, too, was always warning him to stay inside the fence. "Look what happened to Peter and the wolf," she would say. His mother was often sick with malaria, and even when she wasn't sick, she would be listless and sad. There were good days, days when she would play the piano for him, play hide and seek around the compound. Or he'd sit on her lap on the sofa out on the veranda, and she'd just talk and talk and talk all about her home in England, and about how much she hated the wilderness and the lioness of Africa, and about how Bertie was everything to her. But they were rare days. Every morning he'd climb into her bed and snuggle up to her, hoping against hope that today she'd be happy and well, but all so often she wasn't, and Bertie would be left on his own again, to his own